It is week 8 of the NFL season, and it is time to make our confidence picks. Let's go. And welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Wa2K99. Thank you as always for taking the time to watch these videos. So let's get right into our confidence picks. So what we do every week, we pick every game on the NFL schedule. We don't pick against the spread here. We pick winners. So we're going to rank every game 16 points down to 1 point. 16 points on the game we got the most confidence in, all the way down to 1 point the game we got the least confidence in. Well, let's see how we're doing so far. Last week was not a good week. I went just 5-8. Man, oh man, 109 points. I can't say that I'm very proud of that. For the season, I'm 58 up and 48 down, 544 points. Overall, on the ESPN website, that puts me in the 76.1% bracket. Went down a little bit, so we got to redeem ourselves a little bit here. We got 16 games, so there's plenty of opportunities to make it right again. So let's get right into our picks for week 8. Now, my number 16 game, the game I got the confidence in this week, is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs at the Denver Broncos. Now, this will mark the second time in just 17 days that these two teams are facing off. Now, Mahomes has never lost to the Broncos. Mahomes has never lost a division road game, 16-0. Kansas City has beaten Denver 16 times. By the way, Mahomes is 12-0 against Denver to this point. Another problem, Denver's Denver and Kansas City's Kansas City. I don't care if Taylor Swift's showing up or not. Give me the Chiefs to win with my number 16 pick. 15, give me the Baltimore Ravens at the Arizona Cardinals. The Ravens are rolling. They are playing as well as anybody in the league right now. Lamar Jackson and the passing game gets better by the week, it seems. And meanwhile, the defense, they just lead the NFL in points allowed. That's going to be a tough challenge for an undermanned Arizona team that has been ordinary at best for the last couple of weeks. So give me Baltimore on the road. My number 14 game is the Vegas Raiders at the Detroit Lions. So the Raiders are playing consecutive road games after looking awful in losing to the Bears last week. Meanwhile, the Lions, well, they were blown out on the road last week by the Ravens. They got a little humble pie down there in Baltimore with a side of crow. I guess it was topped with some Old Bay seasoning being down in Baltimore. But Jimmy Garoppolo will be playing quarterback for the Raiders, but it doesn't faze me one bit. I think Detroit bounces back in a big way on Monday night. You know, the Lions are averaging 31 points per game at home this season. Meanwhile, the Raiders have scored 20 points just one time this year. That was a 21-17 over New England in Week 6. Give me the Lions. Number 13, let's go to the NFC East. The Philadelphia Eagles against the Washington Commandskins. Now, we know the Commanders seriously have a major problem protecting their quarterback, Sam Howell. Washington has allowed more sacks than any team in the league. They went just 1 for 15 on third down against the Giants last week, and now they get to face the Birds with Fletcher Cox, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat, Hassan Reddick. Should I go on? You know, I know Washington sometimes plays Philadelphia tough, but give me Philly to roll in this one. My number 12 game, I'm going to go to the AFC East. I'm going to go with the Patriots at Dolphins game. I'm taking Miami with my 12. So Raheem Mostert, he's coming into this game with a bad ankle. He didn't practice today. Tyreek Hill didn't practice today with a hip injury. Supposedly both are going to be playing. And I know New England slowed Miami down their first meeting in Foxborough. I think they could at least contain them a little bit, but New England's offense just doesn't have what it takes to stay in this game to keep up with Tua, Tyreek, Jalen, and the likes. Plus, Tua is 5-0 in his career against Bill Belichick. So give me the Dolphins at home to beat New England. My number 11 game in progress as I record this, the Buccaneers at the Bills. You know, the Bucs offense, give them credit for a good start, but they've struggled the last 2 weeks. They've scored 19 points in 2 games. Meanwhile, the Bills have their own defensive issues with a complete litany of injuries, but I think they get back on track in front of the home crowd. Josh Allen has a big game. I'm not saying blowout, but I'm thinking a comfortable victory, maybe like 7 to 10 points, somewhere in there. All right, number 10, the Chicago Bears at the LA Chargers of San Diego on Sunday Night Football. Maybe the least appealing Sunday night game we've had this decade. Now, maybe for Chicago, the Tyson Bagent story continues. It's a great story, the fact that he did lead the Bears to victory last week. But this is a really tough trip on the road against a talented team that needs this game in the worst way. If the Chargers fall to 2-5, they may never get back in the playoff race. I don't think the Bears are going to stop Herbert, Eckler, and Allen for an entire game. Give me the Chargers, Sunday night, 10 points. Now, number 9, we're going to go with the LA Rams at the Dallas Cowboys. I'm taking Dallas in this game. This is going to be a tough game on the road for the Rams, especially against a team coming off their bye. I'm counting on a lot of points in this game. I would expect at least 50 total, but here's the stat I keep coming back to. The Cowboys, according to Next Gen Stats, they've got the number 1 pressure rate in the NFL. Meanwhile, the Rams rank 28th in pressure rate allowed. Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, all those guys. I think they're going to tee off this week. All right, number 8, the game of the week. Well, at least if you live in New York, the New York Jets at the New York Giants in MetLife Stadium. I think this is going to be a low-scoring defensive game, and I think the offense that makes the big mistake is likely going to cost its team the game. I know Tyrod Taylor, he's likely to play, and he does a pretty good job of protecting the football, but I just don't think the Giants' offensive line is going to be ready for this Jets pass rush. I think the Jets are going to force a couple of mistakes from this Giant offense, and I also expect Breece Hall to have a big game against this Giants defense. When I say big, I mean at least 150 yards, all-purpose yards. And, everything that Wink Martindale's group does well on defense, Robert Saleh's group does a little bit better. I really think what the main thing the Jets need to do to win this game is have good blocking on the offensive line. If they do that, they will win this game. All right, so give me the Jets with my number 8 pick. Number 7, the Cleveland Browns at the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks, their last 3 wins have come against 3 teams that are a combined 3-17, and the Cardinals, the Giants, and the Panthers. Geno Smith has been turning the ball over, 3 interceptions and a lost fumble. He's also been sacked 6 times in 2 weeks, and that on the surface would be a concern because he's facing Myles Garrett and company, Dalvin Tomlinson and whatnot. Yep, they'll be coming to Seattle this weekend. But Deshaun Watson is out again. I like that DK Metcalf will be back in action for Seattle at wide receiver. I think they have just a little bit too much for Cleveland in this game. I think it's going to be a close one, but give me Seattle to win this one at home. All right. Now, when you get to the 6 and below, to me, it really falls off a cliff. This is where the games really start to get difficult here. So my number 6 is going to be the New Orleans Saints at the Indianapolis Colts, and I'm going to go with the Colts in this game. This is one of those contests where you got 2 really hard to figure out teams where you don't know what you're going to get one week to the next, right? So the Saints are coming off a Thursday loss to the Jaguars where the offense looked putrid. The Colts scored a lot of points against the Browns, give them all the credit in the world, but they made a lot of mistakes to help cost themselves that game. It wasn't just the referees, but the Colts have some good mojo going right now. I'm going to take their coach over Dennis Allen. So I'm going to take the Colts at home over the Saints. My number 5 game, the Atlanta Falcons at the Tennessee Titans. I'm taking the Falcons in this game. Now, Ryan Tannehill will not be playing on Sunday. He's got an injured ankle, meaning the Titans will be rolling with either Malik Willis or Will Levis. Now, they rank top 9 in the NFL for fewest rush yards allowed, 7th, fewest pass yards allowed per game, 8th, and fewest points per game allowed, 9th. So that's the Atlanta defense. Also, they've given up the 4th fewest yards per game in the NFL this season. That Atlanta defense is doing well. Now you're facing a Tennessee offense that is really struggling. I mean, only once this year has Derrick Henry eclipsed the 100 rushing yard mark. I think he's going to be traded pretty soon. It could be Derrick Henry's last game, as a matter of fact, as a member of the Tennessee Titans. And I know that Desmond Ridder, I come on and I rip Desmond Ridder every week. He's 1-4 in road games with 1 touchdown and 7 turnovers. I'll still take Atlanta. I think they're the better team. I don't think Tennessee gets past 10 points in this game. All right, number 4. This one's going to be fun. The Houston Texans at the Carolina Panthers. C.J. Stroud against Bryce Young. Frank Reich for Carolina, the NFL's lone winless team, has relinquished play calling duties to his offensive coordinator, Thomas Brown. And you got Carolina coming off their bye. You've got Houston coming off their bye. Here's the thing with the Houston defense. Now, DeMeco Ryans' defense, they are really that bend but don't break defense. They rank 27th in yards given up per game with 376, but they are third in red zone efficiency at 27%. I think Carolina is going to give them a good fight. I think it's going to be close. I think it's just too much to say that they're going to get their first win in this game against Houston. I'm taking Houston, but not with a lot of confidence. All right, number 3, the Minnesota Vikings at the Green Bay Packers, one of the NFL's best rivalries. You know, the Vikings have won 2 straight games to right their ship, pun intended, and they did impress in beating the 49ers on Monday night. It was the game where Jordan Addison introduced himself to the United States of America. But the Vikings here, I don't know, they've got a division game on the road on a short week, always a challenge. And, you know, even without Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins can throw the ball, and he can move you down the field. The Packers are going to need a good pass defense, and this week they've lost Eric Stokes and Darnell Savage, 2 big pieces of that secondary, to injured reserve. So I'm going to take the Vikings on the road to beat Green Bay. All right, 2 games left to go. The Jacksonville Jaguars at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I've gone back and forth on this one a few times. So I break it down a couple of ways. The Jaguars, they've won 4 straight games. They're rested, some after playing last Thursday. Pittsburgh, they've been playing better on offense the last couple of games, which they almost had to do by accident because they have been so inept. Somehow, passing the ball more to George Pickens actually makes Matt Canada and Kenny Pickett look competent. So in 6 games this year, the Steelers have gone 4-0 when Pickens has 75 yards or more and 0-2 when he doesn't. Now, the Steelers are facing a Jacksonville team that can't stop the pass. They're allowing 274 passing yards per game, second worst in the NFL. But on the other side, you look at the Pittsburgh defense, not much better. A franchise that's known for their defense is allowing 383 yards per game, third most in the NFL. So you can see the Jaguars offense having a big day. It's a tough one to call, but I just like the Pittsburgh mojo at home. So I'm going to take the Steelers over the Jaguars. And finally, the Cincinnati Bengals at the San Francisco 49ers. You got the Bengals coming off a bye, which means Joe Burrow's calf got an extra week to heal. You know, the Bengals have been pretty strong over the last 2 years when coming out of a bye. Not only are they 2-0, but they've scored a combined 69 points in those 2 wins. Now, you look at the San Francisco end, Deebo Samuel's been ruled out. Brock Purdy's in concussion protocol. Good chance we see Slingin' Sam Darnold. And San Francisco will be on a short week going into this game after losing to Minnesota on Monday. You know, McCaffrey, Kittle, Ayuk, they're all great, but I think Cincinnati's going to get the victory on the road, and this is going to help springboard their playoff run. So I'm taking Cincy in the upset on the road to beat Frisco. Well, those are my picks. Let me see your picks. Do you have any upset specials? Any games you're particularly confident in on? Games that are toss-ups for you? Let me know your thoughts. Put them right down there in the comments. And a reminder, this weekend, watch for the Jets versus Giants game preview. I got a lot to talk about. We're going to break that game in big depth. I'm also going to do my 5 bold predictions for Jets-Giants. And then Sunday, after the game, we'll be doing the 3 key plays you may not remember that affected the outcome of the game. So stay tuned to New York Sports WickerMedia. Please subscribe and like if you haven't already. Thank you so much, and I'll see you right back here with more content from you know where. The Wicker Chair.